Alright folks, this is a tutorial that will cover motion tracker in Cinema 4D, where we're going to be taking some video footage. This is some footage I shot today, and putting some 3D objects into the scene that will interact with this sort of rotating navigation of the video footage. So I decided to put this piece of paper and this thermos, this lovely thermos, in the scene. The paper so that I could understand the measurement of the space, so 8.5 by 11, and the thermos to help me see the direction of the light because it's kind of nondescript and just looking at except for the car, I guess. Anyway, in the future, especially in morning or late evening light, I guess I would have chosen a smaller object for less shadow, but we'll get into that. All right, so what we're going to do is go into Cinema, go to Motion Tracker, and click on Full Solve. This is going to open up a menu for you to locate your video footage. So I have this one called Motion Track. I'm going to open this up, and it's going to go through a series of calculating the footage and plotting points so that you can apply 3D space to this 2D video. I'm just going to pause now to make this video a little shorter as it goes through its footage. But what you're going to want to do is just be very patient and wait for all of these bars to load to calculate everything that needs to calculate for your scene. Okay, so we're back, and what we see down here is deferred solve finish. That's what we want. And you'll see what we get is we can open up Motion Tracker, and if we click through the camera right here, we can see that we have our video footage and then all of these points that have been plotted relating to our scene. So, and this is what we need to be able to formulate this to use some 3D data in the scene. Okay, next steps. What we're going to have to do with this are add some tags to this in order for us to apply the geometry that we need. So first step is click on Motion Tracker, go to Tags, Motion Tracker Tags, and what we want is this planar constraint. And this will allow us to recognize the floor that we're going to be putting our object on and having shadows cast onto. So when you click this, you're going to get this triangle. And what you want to do is kind of locate some points that are going to relate to the space that you want to work within. So I'm going to put this triangle connecting. You're going to snap them to the nodes that are out here. And so I think that these three should work. Okay, that works pretty good. And then we also need to click on the tag and assign it a direction. So typically the way that this works is we are seeing, we can call this the x-axis, and if the point of the arrow would then be the z-axis, so we have these two horizontal axes, and that is how we need to define it. And that is defined by y, so it's kind of like the axis C that is not present, so we don't have anything going vertically, so this is signified by this, considering it the y. So it'll turn to green to signify that. And then if we play this, we should be able to see that that triangle is maintaining, looks like it's in the space, so it's rotating along with the camera. It's keeping in the basic space of that square of the sidewalk, which is great. That's what we want. So once that's done, we're also going to add another tag under Motion Tracker Tags, and this one is going to be Position Constraint. And what this is a little node that's going to pop in here, and you want to place it where you want, essentially where you want 0 to be. So the center of your scene where you want to drop an object in, and this will also notify what's going to be 0, 0, 0 in your scene. So I'm just going to pop it on this node in the corner of that piece of paper there, and that will then signify it is featured at 0, 0, 0. So we put an object in this place. And if we click on this, you can see that as the camera goes through and around, that node is staying staying there, and the axes are following it, and we can definitely see that Y is pointing up, which is great. It's aligned with the thermos, so everything is working out pretty well. Okay, and the last thing we want to do is add a final tag, which is the vector constraint. And what this does is essentially gives you a line, and within that line you can give it a proportion. So I'm going to snap it to the corner of this paper right here, and then I'm also going to snap it to the corner of this paper right here. It's about the same distance as that piece of paper, which we know is 8.5 by 11. So if we click on the tag, we can go down here to where it says length unknown, and we can change this to known. For some reason, whenever I change something, I have to go back and click on the tab again. So anyway, the known length is not 393 inches, but rather 11 inches. I'm going to pop that in. Now, if you need to change from inches, from millimeters, let's say, to inches, you can always go up to Edit, Preferences, click on Units, and change the unit display from whatever you have to, I use inches because we sort of know what that is. Now if I had a tape measure, I could have also come out here and just measure the length of this line, let's say, in the sidewalk, and use that as well. So I put the piece of paper out there as a quick way to know some sort of distance out there. So you might, as you're photographing, just make note of some sort of distance. If it's a doorway, a doorway is typically about 7 feet tall. So things like that you can use as a guide to help you figure out what that setting is. Okay, so we're all mapped out, and once we have this, what we can do is we can click on Motion Tracker, scroll down to where it says Create Background Object. And this is what we need to do to composite our scene. So with that, we now have a background. We can pop a plane in here. So if we do this, it's going to put a plane in right at 0, 0, 0 in our space, which is excellent. Take this material, which is our background image. We're going to put that on the plane. And just like other composites that we've done, go to Projection, make it frontal. And then also go to Tags and add a Cinema 4D tag, Compositing. Okay, and make sure when that is on, you check Compositing Background on. Okay, and so if we render this out, render, there we go. The plane is invisible to us, but it will be a place that we can capture an object. So I'm going to put in, let's see, I have this object I made, not that one, this one. Dürer solid. This is straight out of art history. So look up Albrecht Dürer's Melancholia and check and see if you can find this object. So I'm just going to copy this and I'm going to paste it into our scene. There we go. And it looks like that was not at 0, so we're just going to, I want to look outside of this thing and make sure that we're sitting, whoops, make sure that we're sitting right on the plane. So that looks, yeah, it looks pretty good. Looks like we're sitting on the plane. I might just want to bring it this forward a little bit. I'm just going to try to cover up the that piece of paper that I had there. Again, I probably shouldn't have put it in there. So anyway, if we play this out now, it's going to take a little bit, take some memory. So we won't be able to watch this on my computer, unfortunately. But as we're navigating around, we should see that we're getting this object to fit within our scene. So there we go. So modeling pretty good. Now the last thing I'm going to do with this is add some lighting. And an easy way to, you still see my shadow here, which is why I wish I had a smaller object. I'm going to use a sky object, physical sky, and when you pop a physical sky in, it's going to interrupt your background image. But what you can do is you can go down to where it says sky in the basic tab, all right, and just check it off, and that way we can use the light and the shadows and everything, but we don't necessarily need to use the sky. So now, when I shot this, it was about 8 in the morning, so let's do that. Maybe, I think it was closer to 8:30. So there we go. And then let's see what this looks like when we render it. All right, so the shadow's not going in the right direction, but the cool thing about physical sky is you can rotate it. So I'm just going to grab the rotate tool and turn the sky a little bit. Something more like that looks probably pretty good. So let's see what that looks like. The direction looks great, so we're going to keep that. But I don't like the light, so go to sun. I'm going to make the intensity, let's see, 150, maybe a little brighter. And the shadow, I don't like black for the shadow. I'm going to use sort of a blue-purple, dark, and make the density less, let's say like 80%. See what this looks like. So not too bad. I mean, we need a little bit more light in the scene, so you know, definitely going to use some playing around. I might just pop a light in here really quickly, sort of diffuse this out. Let's see. Go to light, and let's move it out this way, and up a little bit, and out this way a little bit. Sorry, I'm just using my trackpad right now, so it's pretty slow. And then I'm just going to make this 50%. And let's see what that looks like. No shadow, so it's a little bit better. It's still not great, but let's make it a little brighter. 70. Okay. All right, that's a little better. Now I'm just going to add a little bit of, I like physical render quite a bit better, and I'm also going to add some ambient occlusion, and let's see what this looks like. Okay, not too bad. I'm going to do a quick preview so you can watch this, and then we're all set. So I'm just going to make a preview really quickly. Pause this and come back. Okay, so here is our preview, and we can see it's a little small, but as we play it, our object is in our scene, and as we navigate the camera, the object looks like it's sitting on the ground. Again, it needs a little help with some of the lighting and materials, but with a little more effort, this would look really, really seamless and really good. So, thing to remember, shoot an image that you can understand a little bit of the scale. So again, I used the piece of paper, 8.5 by 11, so I can note that. Remember that when you're dropping your background onto your plane, you need a compositing tag that is checked on for compositing the background. And then if you're going to use lighting, again, if you're going to use physical sky lighting, you can definitely do that. My recommendation is to go to basic, check off the sky so you're only using the light, and you can use the time and location as well. So that's it for motion tracking. Let me know if you have questions.